In this video, I'm discussing how to start a recruiting agency when you have a full-time job. Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Natasha, the business recruiter. Welcome back to my channel. So when it comes to starting a recruiting agency, I want you to know right off the bat that having a full-time job is not a blocker in getting you started. If anything, for a lot of people, it actually serves as motivation to move away from their full-time job and make their recruiting agency their full-time gig. And I can definitely speak to this because I'm on a similar path. However, when it comes to starting a recruiting agency, when you do have another commitment, such as a full-time job in place, it can be rather difficult. Outside of the obvious factors, what I have found to be the most difficult thing for me is time management. And I know it sounds extremely cliche, but time management is actually the key to consistency when it comes to this business. Your ability to manage your time is ultimately going to determine how successful you are. And for me personally, I'll say I had a couple bumps in the road when it came to learning really how to manage my time effectively. So I want to share a few helpful tips in regards to how I was able to manage my time in terms of having a full-time job as well as running my recruiting agency. So tip number one is that I always had a plan for what I was going to do the next day. Meaning I was very intentional about having a to-do list and making sure that I did not bombard that to-do list with too many items. I focused on exactly what it was that I was going to focus on that next day, so be it 3 or 5 items, and I made sure to tackle those things. By doing this, you're able to start your day in a more prepared state. So you're not starting your day trying to figure out exactly what it is that you need to do. You've already thought through that the night before. So for me, it allowed me to get a head start on being able to get things checked off of my list, as well as just a head start on the day overall. And speaking of head starts, I know this next tip might be one of those ones where you're like, I'm not this type of person, Natasha, but you can actually create habits that eventually may help you to be this type of person. And that is a morning person or a night owl. What I found was that I was always scrapping to try to find more hours in the day. And while I do not recommend working 24/7, that's definitely not what you want to do. It is important to understand that when you're getting a business off of the ground, there are going to be some things and some days that you are going to be working long hours. That's just me being 100% transparent with you. And naturally, like in my early 20s, I was a night owl. And as I've gotten older, I realized that I'm not really a night owl or a morning person. However, I found that when I woke up earlier in the morning, let's say 4:30 a.m., I was actually able to get a head start on the day. And those items that I mentioned that I thought about the night before, so those 3 to 5 things that were on my to-do list, a lot of times I was able to complete those by, let's say 7:30, 8 o'clock. So when others are just starting their day, I had already knocked out my important tasks for the day. So if you're able to be diligent about it, I definitely encourage you to choose whether you want to be a morning person or a night owl. And keep in mind, it doesn't have to be every single day, but what are those days throughout the week where maybe you do need to put a little bit of extra time into your business? And this will allow you to be able to get a few more hours out of your day. My next tip is that I always prioritize the most important item first. So I know some people will say, well, prioritize the easy things, the things that are easy to get checked off of your list, the things that can be completed within, let's say, a couple minutes. And while that can be helpful for some, and I definitely don't want to demean that method, for me, what I found was tackling the most important items of the day allowed me some leeway or some flexibility in regards to if, let's say, I did get distracted, or let's say something did come up that I did not plan for. At least I knew that the most important item of that particular day had already got tackled. So if there were 2 or 3 items that were lingering into the next day, I knew for a fact that those were not my most important items and that it would be okay to tackle them the next day. My next tip is to get some rest. And I know you might think that that's a little bit contradictory based on being a night owl or a morning person. However, it is important for you to be thoroughly rested when you're trying to operate a business. More than anything else, this just helps you to operate from a fresh perspective, a new lens. You're starting out the day really energized. And you want to take that energy and leverage it throughout the day so that you're able to run your business effectively. And the only way that you're able to do that is if you are able to recharge, refresh, and get some rest. Now, if you have enjoyed this video so far, then be sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button as well as that bell so that you can get notified of all of my videos that drop weekly. Okay, so at this point, I have shared that starting a recruiting agency while having a 9-to-5 is definitely possible, but the key to that is going to be you managing your time effectively. I've also shared a few tips in regards to how I've learned to manage my time so that I can be the most efficient person possible when it comes to running my recruiting agency. The next thing that I want to share in regards to time management is the fact that while oftentimes you will be starting this business on your own, meaning that you will be a one-man or woman show, it is okay to ask for help. So when it comes to time management, it's also important to really think through those things that you could potentially delegate, even in the beginning stages of starting your recruiting agency. So for example, let's say that you're at the point where you are getting your website together for your recruiting agency, and this is something that you've never done before. And while there are a ton of templates and resources and videos and articles and blogs and everything else out there in regards to resources that can help you to be able to put that website together, the thing is, it's going to take some time. And if you're up for it, then great, then no issues there to worry about. However, if you're really feeling on the fence about your capability to be able to put that website together, then you can actually delegate that out to someone who would be considered to be an expert in that field. And an expert can come from a variety of places. So let's say, for example, it's a friend that you know who does websites and they're really good at it, and you want to get their services in regards to completing your website. Or let's say that you actually choose to go the freelance route and you choose to go on Fiverr.com in order to get your website put together. Again, it's going to cost you, but think about the time savings that you have. And with that time savings, you can now focus on getting other aspects of your business together. So time management isn't just about managing your own time effectively. It's figuring out how you can actually go about delegating and then leveraging the time of others in order to get things done so that you can operate at the most efficient capacity possible. And speaking of saving time, one of the things that I have put together for you is my contract template. This template allows you to jump right in and get started with potentially getting your first client signed. So if you have not downloaded my template, then be sure to do that. I'll go ahead and leave the link down below in the description box. As well as I have officially announced that I have started my Recruiting Business Accelerator program. If you're interested in joining, then also go down below in the description box to join the wait list. Once you're on the list, we'll start to provide you with all of the information that you'll need in order to be able to get enrolled when enrollment starts in early September. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, then be sure to give me a thumbs up, as well as don't forget about my Facebook group. We are in there talking all things recruiting. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.